My name is Carl Tamjam, and this is Portugal.
Attention, please.
Good morning. My name is Carl Tamjam, and it's my day off. In a few days, we're going to explore the northern part of Portugal, specifically Braga and also Porto. And at the moment, we're in Francesco's Carneiro Airport, also known as Porto Airport. And I'll show you around. Yes, and we'll get you there. Well, first things first, we're going to Braga. I'm going to meet up with my friends. And there are two ways to go there. It's either by train, via Porto, or you can take the bus. I decided to take the bus so that I can go there directly. We're heading to the ground floor.
If you decide to go to Porto via train, you can go to the bottommost floor in the airport. You can grab a ticket that is worth €2 up until 2.25, plus 0.6 euros for the ticket. In total, you can spend about 2.6 to 2.85 euros, up to Zone 4 of Porto. But if you decide to take the bus like me, you can take the Flixbus or Read Expressos. The total amount I spent is around 7 euros. And without further ado, let's start the Portuguese adventure. And for our Portugal episode, we'll be guided by my old colleague and my dear friend, Sandra, who is a Braga resident. Through the ancient arcs, we enter Braga. Stone opens to the city, an old gateway shaped by faith and power, once welcoming bishops, processions, and kings. Through the steps from quiet walls into living streets, past and present meet here, and Braga begins. At the city of Braga, there's a small pocket of garden, and it's called Jardim de Santa Bárbara. Stone walls hold centuries, flowers break the silence. Raindrops moves across the ancient arches, water whispers, and Saint Barbara stands still, watching time pass gently. In this quiet corner, Braga remembers how to breathe. And now this is Palácio do Raio. Blue azulejos catch the light, curving like waves across the stone. The Palácio do Raio rises, bold, graceful, and forgettable. Before Portugal had a name, before borders were drawn, before kings ruled this land, there was Braga. Founded more than 2,000 years ago, Braga began as Bracara Augusta, a Roman capital, a center of power, a city that mattered when much of Europe was still finding its feet. Empires rose, empires fell, but Braga remained. Unfortunately, the weather is not in our favor. The wild Atlantic weather is just upon us, relentlessly raining all morning. While walking in the wet pavements of Braga, there's one thing I notice along the neighborhood: a lot of churches. Long before Portugal has a name, Christianity arrived with the Romans, slowly placing itself in its old cities and also the stones within the churches. And this is the Braga Cathedral. Long before Portugal had a name, Christianity arrived with the Romans, quietly rooting itself in stone cities and early churches. Then came centuries of change, Visigoth kings ruled as Christians until the Moors crossed the sea, bringing Islam, science, and new ways of life. Yet Christian faith endured, living side by side, waiting. Here, Christianity took root early, so early that Braga became one of the oldest religious centers in the entire Iberian Peninsula. When Rome collapsed, Braga became a capital again, this time of the Subic Kingdom, one of the first kingdoms in Western Europe. And when Portugal was finally born, Braga was already ancient, already powerful, already watching history unfold. And now for the highlight of the Braga trip. Before the city wakes, Bom Jesus rises, a sanctuary carved into the hillside, where faith, stone, and time climb together. Each step tells a story. Centuries of devotion etched into a granite, statues frozen mid-prayer, fountains whispering beneath the trees. Staircase unfolds like a pilgrimage, drawing the eye upward, inviting the body to follow. From below, it feels endless. From above, Braga reveals itself. Soft roofs, morning light, the world held briefly in stillness. Bom Jesus isn't just a place you visit. It's a pause, a breath between ascent and arrival. It is a foggy afternoon here in Braga, and this is Bom Jesus. Quite a long name, just underneath here. So it was built in the 18th century in a Baroque style. And later, it was refurnished just to have these dramatic scenes in the 19th century. And somehow there are about 600 steps, as you witness, how we climbed them all. From the very foot of the mountain or hill up until the very church. So, as we all know, Portugal is a very Catholic country. It's around 80 to 85% Catholic, and it shows with all the churches. Built in the 18th century, rising above Braga like a stone sermon, Bom Jesus is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, not for its size, but for its meaning. By the time you reach the top, the statues are behind you, the city is below you, and the climb has already changed the way you arrived. If only the walls can speak. But in São Bento Station, it doesn't just show, it tells a story. Kings are crowned, battles are fought, pilgrims travel dusty roads, and ordinary people shape a nation with quiet resolve. Created in the 20th century, these murals don't decorate the station, they transform it. Portugal is a small country until it crossed the waters. In the 15th century, Portugal stood at the edge of Europe and looked outward. What followed was one of the earliest global empires, stretching from Brazil to Africa, from India to Macau. Navigation, trade routes, maps that reshaped the world. But empire is never just discovery. It is power, extraction, and lives further altered. Languages spread, cultures collided, wealth flowed home, into cities like Lisbon, into monuments, into stone, staircases, and gilded altars, while far beyond the horizon, the cost was paid unevenly. Today, Portugal feels calm, gentle, almost timeless, yet its past is written anywhere in the architecture, in tradition, in the mix of influences that will define its identity. Travel here is not just to admire the beauty, and to remember that every journey leaves a mark. And good morning from Porto. And it's raining so hard at the moment. And somehow we're going to the first destination, and you'll like it because that's where it is rumored that J.K. Rowling was inspired with the stairs of a library. But first, let's catch a quick breakfast. Morning Porto arrives softly, cobbled streets still damp with night air, shutters lifting one by one. I step into a small cafe where time feels slower. An espresso hits the counter, dark, sharp, fragrant, steam rising like a quiet promise of the day. Beside it, a pastel de nata, warm, golden, and possibly delicate. The custard trembles under a blistered top, dusted with cinnamon and sugar. Well, your trip to Porto is not complete without trying their pastel de nata. In Porto, there is a bookstore that feels less like a place and more like a spell. Yes, and it was a myth that Harry Potter is modeled after this bookshop. And we have to queue. Livraria Lello feels less like a bookstore and more like a portal. A crimson staircase twists upward like something imagined before it was built, drawing the eye towards ceilings of carved wood and light, filtered through colored glass. Every shelf leans under the weight of words, centuries of stories, pressed together in silence. People come here looking for books, but they leave carrying something else. A sense that imagination has architecture, and that some places are written before they are visited. For a moment, Porto stops being a city, and Livraria Lello becomes a story you're walking through. They say this place is tourist trap. Well, every story has a rumor, and in Porto, this is one of them. They say Livraria Lello helped inspire the world of Harry Potter, that a young writer once wandered these streets, climbing staircases like this one, surrounded by dark wood, stained glass, and the quiet weight of imagination. Whether truth or legend, it's easy to see why the idea lingers. They rise between narrow streets and river views, quiet, withered, enduring. Blue azulejos catch the light, telling the stories in fragments. Saints, sailors, suffering, salvation. Facades glow in gold and granite, shaped by faith, wealth, and time. Some churches are grand, wrapped in Baroque excess. Others are modest, almost hidden. Doors worn smooth by centuries of hands, but each one holds silence, in history and the reason it was built. These walls have seen departures and returns, prayers whispered before voyages, thanks given after survival. In Porto, churches aren't just monuments, they are memory, anchors in a city shaped by the river, the ocean, and belief. In Portugal, churches are not just places of worship, they are witnesses. They rise from hills and city squares like pauses in time. Stone prayers shaped by centuries of faith, fear, gratitude, and survival. Every church here carries a silence that feels earned. In Porto, the churches cling to the city's edges and heights. Baroque towers cut into the sky. Facades bloom with azulejos, blue and white tiles, telling stories. Step inside and the noise of the world dissolves. There's Igreja do Carmo, its tiled wall like a frozen hymn. Clarijos, rising tall and narrow, calling the city upward with its bell tower. São Francesco, where stone austerity gives way to an overwhelming flood of gold, as if heaven itself spilled indoors. Across Portugal, the story deepens. Romanesque churches squat low and heavy, built to endure. These churches have seen it all. Earthquakes, revolution, kings crowned and kings erased. Prayers whispered in hope and cried out in desperation. They do not judge, and that is their power. In a country shaped by the sea and saudade, the churches stand as anchors, reminding Portugal who it was, who it is, and who it still hopes to be in the future. Bolhao is not a market, it's Porto speaking in its own voice. Beneath iron balconies and worn stone, life unfolds without performance. Fish arise with the dawn, fruit stocks into color, vendors call out names they've known for decades. Opened in 1914, Bolhao has survived time, neglect, and change. Because the city refused to let it disappear, this is where Porto remembers itself. In accents, in bargains, in hands that never stop working. Bolhao doesn't sell nostalgia, it lives it every morning. There is one food that stands out all of them, and it's bacalhau or cod. One for every day of the year, and still not enough to tell the whole story. Because cod is not about the recipe, it's about who you are when you eat it. The fish does not swim in Portuguese waters, and yet it lives in the heart of the nation. Dinner time in Porto doesn't whisper, it arrives heavy, steaming, unapologetic, and there it is, the francesinha. A sandwich that refuses to be modest. Layers of steak, sausage, ham, pressed between bread, sealed under melted cheese like armor. Then comes the sauce. Hot, thick, reddish brown. Beer, tomato, spice, secrets poured generously until the plate becomes a battlefield and the sandwich begins to surrender. This is not finger food, this is a commitment. Fork and knife in hand, you break through cheese and bread, steam rising like a signal flare, and the first bite is chaos. No wonder they call it the heart attack on a plate.
That is super filling. I think I have to take it back. It's not a heart attack on a plate, it's like heaven on a plate. It's so delicious. I think the secret is on the sauce. Yep. So, it was a good dinner indeed.
Well, Portugal didn't fall into dictatorship overnight. It drifted there. After years of chaos, debt, and failed governments, the First Republic exhausted itself. Strikes, coup, and empty coffers left the country desperate for order. This is after losing the colonies. Into that silence stepped this man, Antonio de Oliveira Salazar.
Viram esta grandiosa manifestação. Aqueles que, abandonando ocupações e trabalhos, vindos de longe.
Quite austere, a professor of economics, a brilliant man, he didn't promise glory, but what he promised is balance. Up until the very day that he got drunk with power. Portugal, mid-20th century. A small country holding its breath. Enter Antonio de Oliveira Salazar, not with banners or roaring crowds, but with silence, with ledgers and folded hands. A professor who became a ruler. A man who believed chaos was the greatest sin, and order the closest thing to God. Voices lowered themselves before they were lowered for them. The secret police listened to the people, learned not to speak. He called it discipline. He called it stability. He called it the Estado Novo, the new state. Spanning the Douro, the Louis I Bridge is more than steel. It's Porto reaching across time. 2 levels of iron, arched like ambition, linking the bustling city to Gaia's wine cellars. Boats pass beneath as if bowing to the curb, and above, trams glide like veins carrying life. Built in its 19th century, it still holds not just travelers, but the heartbeat of a city. Cross it at sunset and you see Porto in a single glance. Stone, river, light, and history intertwined. And we're just at the very top of the Dom Luis Bridge. And there's the metro. Forged in iron and ambition, it stretches across the Douro with a single daring arch, as if daring gravity itself to object. Below it, the river moves slowly, carrying centuries. Wine, labor, departures, and returns. Built in the age of industry, the bridge feels almost impossibly delicate and massive at the same time. A lacework of metal suspended between 2 cliffs connecting not just Porto and Villa Nova de Gaia, but past and future. The Dom Luis Bridge doesn't shout, it simply stands, patient, elegant, unyielding, reminding Porto that beauty can be engineered, that cities, like people, are held together by bold connections. And that trip is a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the Portugal travel video, and I don't know how to end this, but maybe with a photo that I turned into an AI video. Well, up until the next time, au revoir!